Well, good evening, everybody. Welcome to round 5 of the North American Grand Prix RUF iRacing RUF World Endurance Challenge, coming to you live from Brands Hatch in England. And I'm joined, as always, by Brad Maris. Brad, welcome.
Yep, thanks, Al. Good to be here as always through 4 rounds now in this RUF championship, and things are heating up. I'm really looking forward to the action here tonight and recapping a little bit of what happened here in the first 4 rounds.
Yeah, you had the privilege of calling last week's race at Bathurst. We had quite a finish there with finally someone else stepping up and taking the win away from Wyatt Gooden, who had won the first 3 rounds. Chris Miller taking that win at Bathurst. Good job by him.
Yeah, and a pretty unexpected win it was as well. Wyatt Gooden well and truly in control of that race after starting a bit farther back in the pack than we're used to seeing him, but a late race incident there for Wyatt Gooden led to that Chris Miller win, and you know what? He deserved it. The guy missed the first race at Daytona, but since has been coming on strong with very good points finishes, and he earned that win well and truly, so good job for Chris Miller.
Kyle Burney also had a good run, finished in second. Paul Darling took third, and Corey Rowan fourth. Wyatt Gooden ended up in fifth. So good night for those guys. Corey making some headway here in the championship. So moving up to second in the championship standings. We're currently in between sessions here, waiting to move over to qualifying. So we got a few minutes here. Let's take a look at the track map here tonight. Once again, we're coming to you from Brands Hatch. 9 corners, very fast circuit, Brad. I know you had some opportunity to do some laps around here. What were your thoughts?
Yeah, I did have the opportunity to do some recon laps. It's a really fantastic track. It's a great layout, and really the key to the majority of these corners and overall lap speed around here is holding momentum through the corners. So a couple very long sweepers around this place, a very difficult second sector with kind of a mix of medium and high-speed corners, but it's all about the key is all about carrying momentum, trying to get a little bit of a late apex down right to that apex through the middle of the corner and carrying a lot of speed coming off. Got to be really careful on the acceleration around here, particularly because a lot of these guys are likely electing to use a little less downforce around this place to try to get through those sweeping corners a little bit faster. It's going to lead to some great action.
Yeah, we saw a number of offs there in practice, especially that turn 6 and 7 complex. A lot of guys getting out of shape running wide, so it's going to be interesting how the race plays out. Well, we got some time here before we move over. Get the live timing enabled on the site, so if you want to follow your drivers, see how they're doing, just head over to NorthAmericanGP.com. Click on the iRacing live timing tab there at the top, and from there you can follow your favorite driver. You see Chris Miller there with the best time in practice. That Chris was last week's winner, and he set a best time of 23.2. So we'll take we'll see if Chris can maintain that pace here up during the race.
Yeah, and I think that's really going to be key for a lot of these guys. Can they maintain a really fast pace, yet at the same time keep it on track? I think that's really going to be the challenge for these guys, and I suspect more than a couple of them won't be quite running the best laps that they possibly can to ensure that they do keep it on track and are able to finish this event.
Well, we're privileged to be joined by a third member of the broadcast tonight, Scott Myers. Scott, the admin of the iRacing League here at North American Grand Prix. So Scott out with an injury tonight, unable to race, so he's gracious enough to join us here in the broadcast. I don't know if he's back yet. Scott, do you copy?
Yeah, I got a copy. Glad to join you guys.
Excellent. So Scott, welcome. Scott, you're going to have some good insight for us here tonight, so why don't you let us know quickly the race distance tonight, laps, and what to expect for pit stops here tonight.
Yeah, we're going to run the 60 minutes. We always do timed rather than a choice. We set a timed 60-minute race. Looks by the times we're looking at here, we're going to race about 42 laps. I'd be surprised to see a 43, although it might be possible. So you will see some guys opt to split that time right in half. You'll see pits starting to rotate at about 30 minutes. And there's going to be some run for a full tank, so they might be stopping around the 40-minute mark. So that's basically the pit window that we'll see tonight.
Well, you have a great opportunity, Scott, here in the broadcast booth, unfortunately, but it's a great opportunity to ask you about how you feel this season's been going so far, what you've seen out of the tracks and the drivers so far, and kind of who are some of the guys that maybe are standing out for you.
Well, I'll tell you, Corey's been standing out. Of course, he's sort of on another team, but on the Eagle Race team, along with some of us, sort of came from another league. So I've really been enjoying his work. He puts a lot of seat time in. But we've watched, if you look at this tonight, we have, 2 or 3 guys who haven't been in that top 5 mark yet, who are up there now tonight. So this is obviously a track they like. So that's another interesting thing. Track choice this season to date, it's been pretty demanding. I think we've all been rather surprised at the the level of concentration, focus it's taken, and the amount of crowded racing we've had. I think it's been a tough season so far. We'll see how that changes when we move to Sebring. It's a track everybody's familiar with, but so far it's been a great schedule, but very demanding.
Some of the guys have started to roll out here. Well, we have a little bit more time here. Just quickly I'm going to quickly run down the standings here tonight. The Drivers' Championship, Wyatt Gooden leading the way with 134 points. Corey Rowan in second with 109. Paul Darling third with 91 points. And Kyle Burney and Alfonso Rodriguez tied for fourth with 85. In the team championship, the Smoking Eagles leading the way with 204 points. Team Patron in second with 178. The Black Eagles. Oh, Scott, looks like your mic's hot. Sorry. So in third, the Black Eagles with 167 points. Flying Wrench Racing fourth with 130. And UMBC Racing and Team FSB tied for fifth with 107.
Yeah, tight battles all around, and if I can just go back quickly to that Drivers' Championship, Alfonso Rodriguez, of course, did go into last week with the second place in that championship, but crashed out relatively early there at Bathurst, so gave up that second place in the point standings, and as you say, allowing Corey Rowan to take that second spot. Interesting news and notes there for Alfonso Rodriguez. It'd be interesting to see how he bounces back.
And Corey,
go ahead.
Sorry, Brad. Al. Corey was having some mechanical trouble early on. We'll see if he's worked through that.
Thanks for the update.
Alright, so 15-minute qualifying session. We are underway. There's a lot of traffic exiting the pit lane here.
Yeah, these drivers are ready to go, aren't they? It looked like everybody was trying to position to get out first and get some clean laps in, but only 1 or 2 guys actually accomplished it.
Yeah, the track should stay busy. Batters spread it out a little more than we probably expected, but I don't think we're going to spread out so much here tonight this week.
Yeah, and it sure seems...
So, go ahead, Bob.
Yeah, it sure seems to me also that traffic could play a big part here in this qualifying period. So with those 15-minute qualifying sessions, it behooves these guys to get on their best lap quickly.
On board with Paul Darling. A good look at the layout here and the nature of this track. It's quite a few elevation changes. A bit bumpy in some spots. And as Brad mentioned earlier, it's very quick track, very fun to drive. So looking forward to this one as Paul's about to get his lap underway here.
Yeah, Paul Darling's been making a lot of noise in the championship here recently, improving his point totals week after week after week, collecting that fine finish of 30 points last week there at Bathurst. Coming on strong for Paul Darling, currently third in the championship. Yeah, perhaps a little crack of light there entering for these guys with championship aspirations as well. It should be said with Wyatt Gooden having that small mistake, maybe just opening that door, a tiny crack. First chink in the armor we've seen anyway.
Yeah, and that opens up the mathematical possibilities at least. We're halfway through the season at the very end of this race for distance, so.
Paul Darling dealing with a bit of traffic up ahead of him. Castro Porsche gets out of the way for him. See where Paul ends up. I mentioned Chris Miller had the fastest lap in the practice session. Has yet to go out on track. So Paul third with a 24.6. Gooden about to cross the stripe here. He's in the final corner here at Brands Hatch, Clark Curve. And Gooden.
Yeah, traffic seems to play a role here already. We only have about 4 times that are clean laps.
Currently third. As we see one of the patrols go off, like his teammate. Ooh, Ben taking a little bit wide. Going to have to regroup. Taking a look at our leader here in this session, Chris Miller. Currently on provisional pole with a 24.1. Alfonso Rodriguez second with a 24.3. Haven't seen the times that we've seen in practice. Jeremy Evans just moves up to provisional pole, first guy into the 23s.
Yeah, and exactly what I was saying. I think Wyatt Gooden actually just eclipsed that as well. Yeah, getting the absolute best lap around this place does take a number of laps to actually get. When we're in the race, these guys are going to want to back off those times just a little bit, I think, for safety's sake.
Well, with Miller. Sounds like he backs off it. Picked them up late. Jeremy Evans currently second in the... Ooh, as he loops it there. That's a popular spot. These guys have been losing at turn 8, 6, 7, and 8. A lot of these guys making mistakes through there. Alfonso Rodriguez is currently in third. He's about to cross the stripe. See if he's able to improve. Does not.
Yeah, those corners through that section there are really, they're kind of they're almost high-speed sweepers, where you have to get on entry, and a couple of them are blind to entries as well, some of the right-handers there, so very, very tricky to pick up the correct entry points, and again, you have to carry a lot of speed if you want to put in a good lap around there.
Oh, Carl Burney. Last week's had a great finish last week, finishing second at Bathurst.
Josh Daniels is back down to 10th, but he's got some room for improvement. He put in a maybe almost a second better lap time in practice, so Josh Daniels in 10th might climb back up the ranks here.
Yeah, good point. I noticed that as well, Scott. But quickly running down the time here. Now only about 8 minutes left to play. So it does show you what kind of pressure is put on in these 15-minute qualifying sessions.
Burney unable to improve. Wyatt Gooden has improved on his personal best with a 23.3. Chris Miller has dipped into the 23s as well with a 23.6. So he's currently second. Josh Daniels, you mentioned him, he is in third with a 23.9. Looks like he's pulling it off. So really close times, first through fifth. Taking a look at Kenny Duval. Kenny taking it off. But Kenny Duval currently in sixth with a 24.3. So as he makes his way back on track.
Wow, and yeah, Roberto and Corey, the Smoking Eagles, leading the championship. They're 14 and 15. You know they want to do better than that. That's taking a 25 flat to be at number 14.
Robert Lacroix, currently 14. Blocked a little bit there. Not going to do him any favors on lap time. Take a look for, Paul Heeb, he's off.
Yeah, and quickly, speaking of Roberto Lacroix, he ran a lot of that Bathurst race with damage. Did a great job, actually, to come into a very fine finishing spot toward the end. Was really hampered by an ill-handling race car for a lot of that event.
So James Lamb sitting 22nd at the moment.
Yeah, and we didn't get to a couple guys that haven't been around so much this season. Guys like Jeremy Evans and Josh Daniels. He has been around, hasn't put up a lot of fast times there week after week, but a couple of those new guys putting in some very nice times.
Yeah, and Jeremy did it. He took that second off we were talking about up there in number 4.
Darley currently in 8th. Troy Eddy running in 9th. His best 24.530.
5 minutes to go.
It's about a little over a second, covering 1 through 10. Paul Darling in 10th. Eric Enge, no improvement there. He is in 11th. Corey looks like he's figured out his mechanical problems. Currently in 12th. So nice to see he got that squared away.
Yeah, just now eclipsing Andres Preto, another newcomer tonight who hasn't yet joined this season. Long-time NAGP veteran, however.
Yep, Preto, personal best 24.5. He just moved up to 10th, so nice lap for Andre. As we run down the fast laps here. Back out front, Wyatt Gooden continues to lead. Ooh, as Andres takes it off. About 3.5 minutes left to go here. Just over. Gooden continues to lead this session. Let's stick on board with him as he gets close to completing this lap. Oh, looks like he backs off. Chris Miller. Chris Miller with a bit of a mistake there. He takes it off as well. Looks like he's just pushing a little too hard there.
Well, he doesn't have to push too much harder to really eclipse Gooden. Those sector times are extremely close. Miller now just giving up a little bit of time in the last sector, and that's all he needs. So it's not too surprising that he's going to push a bit, but quickly running out here. He's only going to get another lap or two to take over that provisional pole.
Watch Kyle Burney, who's up to third, quickly falling back to fifth. As Alfonso Rodriguez moves up to third, Jeremy Evans fourth.
Yeah, and continuing to take a look at that Corey Round situation. Corey's still in the 14th position, so has yet to move up. Roberto Lacroix now down to 16th.
Barney, clock curve. See where he ends up. Go ahead, Scott.
Yeah, that 25 flat is not shabby, but it's not going to get you in the top 10 tonight.
Ball with Chris Miller. Ran a personal best 23.2, I believe it was, in practice. Still has yet to match that pace here in qualifying. He's close as Wyatt Gooden now improves on his time with a 23 flat.
Yeah, and that time's going to be tough to get to, I think. I think we saw Miller do about what he could out there on track. I don't know if he's going to have a response here tonight, or for that matter, if any other driver is going to have a response here with just a minute left to go.
Alfonso Rodriguez in the pit lane. Chris Miller has a lap going. Jeremy Evans just ahead of him on track. Evans looks like he's got a nice time going for himself here. See where he ends up. Ooh, he does not improve. Close. Chris Miller, let's see where he ends up. Doesn't look like he's going to improve. He does not. Darling, currently in 7th, does not improve. Preto with some traffic up ahead of him. Preto currently in 8th. Not too shabby for his first time out here.
Not at all, and that 24 flat is actually very respectable considering he's only 4/10 off of the second provisional guy, Chris Miller.
Checkered flag here in qualifying. So no improvement for Andres. Troy Eddy staying 11th. Stefan Werner. He's out of time. Charles Hofstetler, looks like he's out of it. So that's going to do it. Wyatt Gooden takes your pole here from Brands Hatch with a impressive time of a 1:23 flat. Chris Miller second with a 23.6, followed by Rodriguez with a nice time of also a 23.663, just 500ths off of Miller. So pretty quick session.
Yeah, and a very exciting session too. Alfonso Rodriguez coming up just short of that Chris Miller time, and I'm glad to see that. Again, Alfonso Rodriguez looking for a little bit of a comeback, I think, after that disastrous week at Bathurst. Other notables, I think Kyle Burney deserves some recognition, as well as that Andres Prieto coming home in 8th. But in all, it was the best lap for Wyatt Gooden, so congratulations to him. This is going to be one heck of a race as these guys navigate around this Brands Hatch circuit.
Yeah, we'll see if these fast sets translate here in the race. Some of these tires are going to begin to overheat at about lap 5. There's just no rest for the tires out here.
Boy, yeah, good call on that, Scott.
So we do a pace lap here first, and then we go green. We waste no time. So take a look at the grid here tonight. Start in order. Oh, that's not right. Still working through the kinks here.
That qualifying tab?
Yeah, qualifying in-game. It's Wyatt Gooden number 1, Chris Miller number 2, Alfonso Rodriguez number 3, Jeremy Evans number 4, Kyle Burney number 5.
Joshua Daniels starts 6th, Paul Darling's in 7th, Andres Prieto starts 8th, Kenny Duvall, nice time for 9th, and Eric Enge is in 10th.
11th place, Troy Eddy. Corey Round made it to 12th. Ben Darley, 13. 14, Gerald Livingston. 15, David Toro with a 125 flat.
Roberto Lacroix could do no better than 16th. Barry Richards starts 17th. Eric Estes is in 18th. Tim Ryberger starts 19th. And Eric Hafner's in 20th.
Paul Heed, 21. Stefan Werner, 22. In 23rd, Charles Hofstetler. 24th, James Lamb. And Milt Minter Jr. in 25th.
Adam Green, haven't seen him too much this season, starts 26th. Ray Nelson's in 27th. William Harris is in 28th. Daniel Robert in 29th. And Rob Thaler in 30th. And I think that's it, or did I miss somebody, Scott?
Yeah, you have on the grid Frank Nichols, Doug Tevick, Sean Johnson, and John Ambrose, who did not put times in or are no longer on the grid.
Yeah, so 34 starters. Going to be a pretty full house tonight, Scott. How do you see this one playing out?
I really don't know. I know it's going to be exciting.
Yeah, I think it's going to be interesting, not unlike Bathurst last week, to see what kind of attrition we end up with here this week as well, and to see who of those front runners are going to be able to maintain a good pace while still keeping it on track.
Yeah, I don't think we'll have the same trouble in the first lap or two, but I think you will see those tires overheating, and it's still going to be some pretty good, close, tight racing at that point, so we might see some attrition lap 5 on.
Roger that. Let me make sure. Al, you still with us?
Oh, I copy. I'm just letting you guys run through the order here. Doing better than I
Just making sure.
So it's a pace car. About to complete a lap and go into the pit lane. Wyatt Gooden's going to lead the field here with Chris Miller alongside of him.
It's going to be fun.
Green flag from Brands Hatch. Nice stop by Wyatt Gooden, as he leads Chris Miller into 1. ball with Miller. Ooh, looked like Wyatt ran a bit wide there, but you mentioned earlier, Brad, a lot of these guys late apex in these corners.
Yeah, and you know what? I think quite a few of these faster guys are dipping off wheels on the outside just a little bit to gain that little tiny bit extra momentum, so they're going to have to watch that over the course of the race as those tires get hot.
Yeah, good clean start. Looks like through the field here pretty well.
Miller maintaining a pretty decent gap to Wyatt, keeping it under a second, as Jeremy Evans has moved up to third, ahead of Alfonso Rodriguez, who started third, has now dropped back to fourth. So nice start from Evans. He's got a little over half a second over Rodriguez.
Had Josh Daniels off track back there. I don't know what happened.
Yeah, and Kenny Duvall as well. Kenny Duvall into the pits from around the 10th starting position, so early trouble for those guys.
Ooh, yeah, Kenny with some front-end damage there. So tough start for him. Kyle Burney now up to fifth. He's got Paul Darling on his tail. Preto has moved up to seventh, trailing Paul Darling. Let's go on board with Darling. A little bit of a slide by Burney. That's going to allow Darling to close the gap on him. As Burney makes a big mistake.
Oh boy, that was early.
Yes, it was. He spun it right into the pit lane, and he's in. He's going to get serviced. That car is smashed. Well, tough break for Kyle.
Yeah, we had a little tussle back here between 13 through 20 that created a little bit of a jam up here as well.
Yeah, Ben Darley now into the pits with early damage as well, so Ben Darley going to have a lengthy stop for repair.
Two teammates, Eric Estes and Paul Heeb, running 12th and 13th. Close fight between these two. This track doesn't really lend itself for passing opportunity. It's so quick. Where's the Brett? Where's the best place to make a run on somebody here?
That would be after the turn one complex into the right-hander. That's going to be your best opportunity, but you do have to take some chances around that very fast right-hand sweeper to get a good run through there. So it's still not a great opportunity, but it's one of the better ones you're going to get.
So he takes the position away from his teammate Estes, and looks like he's quickly driving away here. So he showing some decent pace here early.
So it's Kyle Burney now after that horrible accident. They're allowing a lot of these guys to move up, including Darling, Preto, Enge, Rowan, and Lacroix. So a lot of these guys moving up through attrition.
Yeah, Preto, you mentioned him. We're on board with him. He's moved up to sixth after some attrition there. So a nice start for Preto. Darling's got a 2-second gap over Preto, but Darling's starting to close in on Rodriguez. That gap is now just about a second. As Rodriguez continues to hang on to the back of Evans. So this battle for third is rather tight. However, the two guys up front, Wyatt Gooden now with a 1.5 second lead over Miller. Miller doing a good job to hang on to that. But Miller's got about 2.5 over Evans. So pretty good pace here early on, Brad.
Well, it is, and Chris Miller, you're right, has not given up much ground to Wyatt Gooden. Now, we have seen this in the past. Wyatt Gooden, I think, perhaps feeling out the car, making sure that everything is settled underneath him before he really gets down to business. But so far, so good for Chris Miller. Very good to see here in the opening lap.
Jeremy's got some pressure. 4, 5, and 6. It's a little tighter.
Looks like Prato made a mistake. Eric Ange has taken over the 6th spot from Andre. So as we follow Evans, he's feeling the heat from Rodriguez and Darling. Those three having a nice tussle here. Take a look further back. Eric Ange in 6th, Prato in 7th. These guys really having a tight battle. Right on board with Prato for that 6th position.
So I don't think we've mentioned it yet, but just wanted to give you a quick update. It looks like Kyle Burney is actually going to be completely out of this race. I don't think he was able to get that Porsche repaired, so that's going to do it for Kyle Burney here early.
Tough break for Burney after a great finish last week. So Corey Ruin and Roberto Lacroix. These guys off to a great start, both in the top 10. Ruin really putting the pressure on his teammate here early on. Livingston also hanging on close to these guys up front. The two teammates, Ruin and Lacroix. So Livingston up to 10th. Dave Toro running 11th. He's about a second and change back of Livingston.
Yeah, and another guy I'm watching creep up through the timing and scoring here is Eric Hafner. Eric Hafner starting well back from his 14th starting position, but now finds himself in that position and running very well here in the early minute.
Yeah, he's got James Lamb all over the back of him. So quite a few battles shaping up here all over this track. So Rodriguez looks like he's taken over that 3rd spot from Evans. We'll catch up with those guys in a bit. So Heeb in that 12th spot. Estes running 13th. So Heeb looks like he's checking out from his teammate after making that pass. Milt Minter Jr. running 16th. Now Milt having a great season, Scott.
Yeah, absolutely. He's got some real solid points from last race, and obviously, he's running strong here tonight.
So Milt up for that Gentleman Driver Award.
Yeah.
NAGP.
Yeah, he's still leading that primarily because he won the award for the long race. So we'll see how that settles after our 5th race here. But he is in the lead for that cup.
Well, he's got Josh Daniels close on his tail. Daniels currently in 17th. So those guys are having a close fight. On board with Daniels. So he tries to make a move on Milt. Looks like Josh might get it done. does. It's a nice pass by Daniels to take over that 16th spot.
And as you watch that, I can give you a quick update as Corey Rowan is trying to make the move on Roberto Lacroix. In fact, has done it. So Corey now through to the 8th position.
Much of Ray Nelson currently 18th. Daniel Robert right behind him at 19th. That's a close fight for that position.
And an honorable mention to Chris Miller again. He got the Gentleman's Cup last race and the pole and the win. So he got the first trifecta of the season. That was maximum points available. So that was a real nice race for Chris last week.
Yeah, I'll give you a quick update on timing and scoring here. Drivers out of this event. Charles Huffstetler, unfortunately, done. Kyle Burney, Ben Darley out of this event. Gray Richard, Tim Ryberger had a nice starting spot, but he is out. Troy Eddy and John Ambrose also out of this event.
Stefan Werner with some heavy damage on his car, currently 21st. Frank Nichols all the way back in 22nd. Doug Tevitt is running in the 23rd position.